Hi, guys. Welcome to the Town Hall and the 2023 AVA Business Meeting. We're very happy you're here, and it's my pleasure to introduce the president for 2023 with great thanks, Miss Tanya Heim. Tanya, it's all yours.
All right, thank you so much, Judy, and welcome to everyone to our 2023 annual business meeting. Our agenda is there on the slide. We're going to talk a little bit about 23, and we're going to talk a little bit about 2024. But before I go any farther, I want to thank the 2023 Board of Directors. Shelley DeVries is our president-elect. You'll be hearing from her in a few minutes. I want to thank Tanya Stevens as our past president. She's been a great mentor and help to me this year. Stacy Harrison as our board secretary. Warren McLaughlin, Niall Mason, Lynn Deutsch, Neil Chagedney, Chat Rasden, and Karen Lafrette. So what a great board it's been to work with this year, and I really appreciate all the time and effort that they've put in on behalf of AVA. Okay, next slide. There we go. So if you remember, at the end of 2022, in preparation for our January 2023 board retreat, we sent out a survey. And we didn't get huge numbers, but we certainly got enough to have significant input into our strategies for the year. So the key themes that came out of that survey, and we had folks that responded who were members, we had non-members, we had industry partners, we had nurses, non-nurses. It was just a good variety of folks that answered the survey. But these are the main things that the survey showed. Profession, the association, and membership in the association are undervalued. That showed that we needed to work on marketing and branding. And I really think those first two are related. The value of the association with our marketing and branding. Communication was noted as a challenge. And my guess is you could do a survey anywhere at any time, and communication would be on a list. It's a challenge for almost every organization. This was another one, though, that was interesting: relationships with other associations. And we felt that was a significant key theme that we wanted to address this year. I'll talk about some of the tactics in a minute. Financial support for initiatives came up as a key theme. Data and research was a key theme. And then issues with our networks. And I'm not talking about computer networks here. I'm talking about really the lifeblood of AVA is our networks in the various locations across the world, really. So we spent a lot of time talking about those key themes and developed some strategies. So some things that we've accomplished this year is we've had some AVA staff and AVA members hold key positions in several initiatives and research studies that were multi-organizational, multidisciplinary, multi-organizational. That was one thing that was a goal the board identified and felt like if we can have our folks out front working with these other organizations, then that lends some credibility to what we do as AVA. A 2023 marketing plan was developed and implemented, and we're in the process, or the staff actually is in the process of putting the final touches on our 2024 plan. Once that's complete, then we'll start implementing that. We did see engagement across our various channels of communication increase this year. It's been high all across. We communicate through our journal. We communicate through IQ, the listserv, those of you that are on Slack. There was communication there, emails, website. and we did have a higher level of engagement across those channels. We're also in the process of developing specific tactics to partner with related professional associations. We have started to reach out to some of those associations, and we've started to identify, for instance, when is their conference? Can we get AVA speakers to speak at say an APIC conference or an AONL conference or a magnet conference? Matt certainly did that in spades for us this last year, winning the magnet prize. Really proud of him for that, him and his team. We did receive some grant funding this year for some AVA research and some of our project initiatives. The clinical practice guideline development continues. You're going to hear more about that in a few minutes from Michelle Shelley. A PIV consensus statement was developed. You'll hear more about that being rolled out at a later time. And then, of course, the equity study was conducted this year, so look forward to the results from that. In response to the key theme of network issues, the board did develop a network task force. Karen LaFerret is chairing that task force. And in addition to a few board members, we pulled in some network leaders, some who are leading very busy, successful networks, and some who have told us, hey, we're struggling. So that's really the perspective that we want to get. That task force has conducted another survey among networks to better identify what to work on first, and they have a list that they're working on very diligently. So a lot of work being done on that. Another thing that happened in 2023 is our partnership with Tally began March 1st. We had a task force of the board that actually did the research on that at the end of 2022. Partnership with Tally started early 2023. I just wanted to introduce our Tally team. Brent Schwartz is our executive director. Of course, Tanya Hutchison and Judy Thompson came over from AVA into Tally as Tally employees and continue to do their good work. Samantha Healy is our administrative assistant, so you may have contact with her. And Fun Lee is our senior marketing manager. Um, they've already started on our 2024 conference, and Fun will be leading that. We also have an accounting team. We have some marketing folks at our disposal, really an array of other resources. But these folks that are listed is really our core team. So wanted to introduce those folks and let you know that we've been underway with that transition and partnership. All right. So membership growth this year has been good. I have to say it's been somewhat because of our PIV curriculum that we've introduced into schools of nursing and medical schools, because those students that are part of that get a free membership, which gives them access to the website and the electronic JAVA and some other things. But we've had membership growth in addition to that student membership. So it's been a good year as far as membership, and that's really exciting to see, because members are the ones who spread the gospel of AVA and vascular access and what needs to happen. So that's exciting to see those numbers get to where they are. This is the engagement I talked about a little bit earlier with our various channels. We have had some, webinars, the AVA Academy, podcasts, Facebook. The roundtables are very popular. Ivy League Learning has been a popular one, and you can see the engagement numbers for 2023 are higher than we've had in the last 5 years. So that's a lot of contacts with people that to learn a little bit more about vascular access and continue to improve patient care, which is all of our goal. This is some survey results from our registration for the conference. The final survey is not published yet, but you can see that a little over half of our attendees at the conference are certified VABC, so that's exciting to see. Um, we have a division between adults, neonates, peds. Uh, of course, over half is adult, but then we have a large PD neo also attendance there, and they always have such good programming for that specific group. We had 1,455 total attendees. You can see that 55% of those were in person. We had 22% of our attendees were exhibitors. We had a full exhibit hall this year. It was a lot of fun. I got a lot of really good feedback from exhibitors. They liked our setup. They liked our hours. They loved the energy and the interest that was happening in the hall. And then we had 23% of folks that signed up for the conference to do it as an on demand, that weren't not able to travel actually to the conference. Um, and then you can see from the last graph that a lot of folks that were at the conference, it was their first AVA. And, I've talked to a lot of people and they say it was the AVA scientific meeting that really made them believers. So, getting people to the conference is real important. And you can see that we've had, really good success at some first time attendees at our scientific meeting. So that's really good data from the scientific meeting, and who was there, and who's participating. Okay, now I'm going to turn this over to Michelle DeVry, our president-elect. She has been our liaison from the board to the clinical practice guideline, and she's got some updating to do to bring you up to speed on where that is. There's a lot of interest in CPGs and where that process is going. So welcome, Shelley.
Thank you, Tanya. Thank you so much. And just one thing for everyone who's joining us live, if you can use the Q&A tab, the feature within the application to submit any questions, that's where when we move on to questions and answers, we will be able to pull the questions from the Q&A tab, not from the chat tab. So just thank you. It will make it easier for us to make sure we can get to you. So echoing what Tanya said, wow, what a journey it has been on the clinical practice guidelines. If we go on to the next slide, there have been dozens of volunteers under the leadership of 6 different teams working on culling through the literature now for a number of years. And I do want to acknowledge the 6 groups we have. We have assessment and device planning that Karen Laforet, who is next year's president-elect. Dr. Peter Carr is our leader for pre-insertion, Nadine Nakazawa on insertion, Dr. Michaela Olson leading up complication management, Belinda Bordeaux with device maintenance and removal, and Lois Davis and the administrative chapter. Under them, we have dozens of volunteers working hours and hours and hours. I know there's a lot of interest and question on when are we going to get this into our hands, and I know we're all so excited for that to happen. And it's coming. We will have an updated date coming out in first quarter 2024. Blake Hotchkiss had been our staff liaison who's been leading the project as he transitioned to another role. The very capable Mickey Hawes has now stepped in as the staff liaison to help us pull us through these last stages of creating these clinical practice guidelines that we are all so anxious to receive. It is a long process. These volunteers are literally going through hundreds and hundreds of full text articles, which have been pared down from thousands of articles presented by our medical librarian for title and abstract screens. And our process is a very rigorous one. Everyone went through a training program from Johns Hopkins. And so we have multiple experts using systematic methodology to actually rate the level of evidence on every article that we're pulling into this document. And then we'll be crafting our very first clinical practice guideline statements after that comprehensive, systematic, objective review of all the literature. So it's a big project, and this is our very first time. So we'll be looking for an updated timeline coming out, hopefully in Q4, the timeline coming out in Q1 2024. And Tanya mentioned our efforts to make sure we're engaging with other associations. So if you look at where our volunteers are coming from, beyond just AVA, we have organizational representation from SEVA, from ONS, from APIC, ASRT, NACNS, NHIA, ENA. So we are pulling from so many of our adjacent and complementary specialties who are at the table with us, helping us review the literature and helping us draft these guidelines. So more to come. So excited, and sincere thank you for everyone who is helping volunteer on this project. Thank you.
So now Mark Rowe, our treasurer, is going to share a financial review.
One more. Hey guys, sorry, my video just kind of cut out. Can you hear me?
We can.
All right, thank you very much. Sorry, I just wanted to confirm. Showing a slide of our current situation. There are several years of balanced budgets. Numbers, actual physical numbers and data sheets are available if you'd want them. But the Finance Committee has reviewed, and we have gone through and just made some statements concerning our financial situations. Again, several years of balanced budgets, trying to be very effective in our spending control by staff during the past few years, recovering from that P word that we all, or the C word that we all know about. So all organizations have had some issues, including AVA, but we're getting back on our feet well. Engagement with the AVA education, webinars, roundtables, as mentioned earlier, the AVA Academy, etc., have also been assisting in our financial balance from the pandemic. Also, that all adds up to a stable financial position for the organization at present. Next slide, please. So our 2024 outlook, they're finalizing the budget right now. This will be available probably within the month. Conservative in its projection for sure. Also know that with our alignment with Tally, our calendar year is only a 9-month calendar year since we started with Tally in March. So therefore, a full calendar year under the same accounting will not be reflective until 2020, end of 2024. We will also have an in-person conference with our virtual component, which, as you saw, was also financially profitable for us in some way. They'll meet in January to refine the strategies remaining to growth and improve AVA itself. Ongoing priorities, we have to increase the value of AVAs to its member, driving recidivism. Also, new revenue outside the conference and membership. We have to have a revenue stream that, though the conference or the scientific meeting is very reflective in it, it doesn't need to be totally supported by it. And also continuing efforts made to control spending and in this volatile financial environment that we're all having to deal with. Thank you very much, guys. Sorry, my video didn't work.
Yeah, I didn't know that was an option. Maybe I'd kind of like my video not to work, but thank you. Greetings. And what an absolute thrill now to have a few minutes to spend talking with you as the incoming president of AVA. Every time I say that out loud, I can't believe it's real. So I thank every one of you for what you do for our patients every single day, and often long after hours, and your commitment to the specialty by participating in our annual scientific meeting as exhibitors, presenters, attendees, and throughout the year at our networks, and so many other ways that you help engage with AVA. Through sharing our knowledge and the incredible networking, I know we make a difference. Now, I often find myself, if you've ever heard me before, approaching groups with the introduction, I'm an infection preventionist, but I come in peace. But here at AVA, for more than 10 years, you've welcomed me and my peers as one of you, and really made us an us. So as I enter my time as president, I hope to continue to grow that feeling and grow the diversity of specialties that are actively involved with AVA, both at a local and national level. And it is such a thrill to already see that so fully embodied in so many of our networks, and is absolutely essential as we strive to continue growing our membership. Next slide, please. Vanna, thank you. So I do want to once again thank my partners on the 2023 board, but also welcome and introduce you to next year's Rockstar National Board of Directors. Karen Lafayette will be our president-elect. Lori Kazmarek is returning to us as secretary. Tanya Heim continues as presidential advisor. Thank you so much. Paul Blackburn is joining us again as our treasurer. Our directors at large will include Lynn Deutsch, Dr. Krister Jakens, Emily Levy, Warren McLaughlin, Dr. Nal Mason, and Dr. Christine Vanden Hooten. I am looking forward to working with this diverse team to keep bringing great things to you in 2024. Please reach out to me, the AVA staff, or any of the board members if you have any thoughts or suggestions, because I would love to hear what we can do to best serve you. Next, please. For those of you joining live today and anybody listening on demand, please consider submitting a volunteer application if you haven't already done so. Even if there's not a specific committee or task force that you're looking to join, our volunteer database is what we use when we get new projects added. As a network leader myself, I'd also encourage you to get involved locally. Many of our networks would welcome assistance not only in leadership, but as members. And additionally, please consider submitting your efforts to JAVA or Intravascular Quarterly. On the immediate horizon, go ahead and submit your abstracts by January 9th for our 2024 scientific meeting at the glorious Gaylord's Rocky in Denver, Colorado. That's how we share and continue to grow and network. Moving on to the benefits of volunteering in whatever capacity is the best fit for you. The benefits are vast. A sense of purpose, a sense of community, meeting new friends, helping with social skills, self-esteem, valuable skills. It's great on your resume. Have some fun. We are a super fun group. Help you be happier. And it really does help push you out of your comfort zone and stretch your skills in ways that you never could have imagined. So there's a QR code here for those of you who can get out your phones and snap that. Go ahead and connect, or you can go to our website, www.avainfo.org. Let us know you're interested. We would be thrilled to help you find the perfect place to get involved with us. So Tanya mentioned we have been so lucky to get a surge in our student members and our clinical faculty as a perk of the programs who've adopted our fundamentals of PIV curriculum. We're going to look forward to their continued participation. Our membership is growing in many different directions. Years ago, one of our CEOs described AVA as the best kept secret in healthcare. Together, we can change that. Because remember, AVA is a resource for everyone directly involved in vascular access, but all of those who support it. So think about your ER, your critical care staff, your quality directors, your clinical nurse specialists, your phlebotomists. Invite them to get involved. Join as members, come to our local network meetings, encourage them to share the story from their side of the bed. There are so many benefits to joining both at the local and national level. There's discounts for coming to the scientific meeting, to getting your VABC or renewing it in our store, in the academy. You receive JAVA, which is our official peer-reviewed journal, our newsletter, which is a fantastic quarterly member newsletter sharing what's going on the streets of vascular access, the Career Center. We have so many CE offerings, awesome chances to network with other members and our industry partners, and so much more. Again, avainfo.org/join AVA now. So who doesn't enjoy a great bargain to sweeten an already incredible deal? So our CARES program makes it easy to renew your network membership at the same time you join or renew at the national level to help you really grow your reach in vascular access. And you could take advantage of those member benefits, both from the national and local level. And by taking advantage of this, you get your national membership for the year for only $99. Your local network will still receive the benefit of your local dues, but you can pay them at the same time to streamline the process. I don't know, team. Okay, one more ahead, please. Thank you. One more, please. So my final sincere thank you is for all of our vendors and industry partners, not just those of you who display in our exhibit hall at our conferences, but every single one who bring the diversity of products to our organizations. We need you to come help us listen to the needs of the patients and clinicians, and then you allow us to move toward that incredible goal of a world without vascular access complications. Thank you for your partnership, your support for our networks, and your contributions to our publications and everything else you do for our association. And finally, as we start moving toward Q&A, a shameless plug. If you want to see new faces on the big stage of our general sessions and hear from new speakers and new facilities during our scientific meetings, it is time to open your computer and start writing your abstract. Help be the change you're hoping to see. Encourage your peers to do the same. When the next slide comes up, you're going to have a QR code because the call for presentations is open until January 9th to send your great ideas for the breakout sessions, for the general sessions, and I believe even for our pre-conference workshops. Dream big. Pretty sure you can even suggest someone or something other than yourself when you fill out that form. Our D team will review submissions early next year and then begin the huge process of building our conference agenda. And if you're not comfortable getting behind the podium yet, fear not, because our digital posters are another way to contribute and start the conversation, and that application will open up for you later in the spring. And with that, I think we are ready. Let me make sure I'm telling the truth here. I think we are ready to move into the town hall discussion. So with that, make sure you're putting your questions into the QA box. And then we will go ahead and work our way through some of those. I'm going to attempt to facilitate. So, okay.
Thank you, Shelley.
Yes, absolutely. So, I don't believe we're reading the names of who has shared these. So, okay, I love this. So I have my hands in many pots, but busy people get things done. Yes, ma'am. I would love to volunteer, but my time is limited. Are there any small tasks that I can help with? Please let me know. Just received my VABC last week and I want to contribute. Remember, small task. Thank you so much for that. I see your name, I see your email address, and we will absolutely reach out. Judy, I don't know if there's anything specific you want to add or comment on, not to put you too much on the spot, but that's what happens when I get to facilitate. Tag
I
you're
always
in.
we always have projects, and we're happy to have volunteers. And what you can do, reach out to me and I will hook you up with a small project, medium project, or giant project, whatever your desires. So yes, we have things going right now and we always will. So yes, please.
And for our contributor, we do see your message and your email address, so we've got you. So next question. May I use your QR code slide to apply to volunteer at our next Peach Fan meeting? And I think I just lost that question. The QR code, I think, is specific to national, but if you go on our AVA Info website, you'll have the contact information for all of the networks, I believe, which will probably be the easiest way to reach out to the leadership of Peach Fan. Anybody else care to answer that differently? All right. Next question. Perhaps I missed it, but is there a plan to increase the social media / YouTube presence of AVA? And if not, why not? Judy, I see you nodding. I have some thoughts, but I think I'm going to ask you to go ahead and answer that, please.
That's 100% positive. Yes, there are large plans. We have a clinical education staff of 2 generally. Right now it's 1, but we're working diligently to make that another 2. And that is 100% in the plans. So strap on your boots. We're coming for sure. What's yours, Shelley?
No, I was just going to say, when you look back at those numbers of engagement, the amount of social media work that has increased over the last year or two, I love that our attendees are asking for even more. But I am so proud of the work that your team has done over the last number of years to really get information out there regularly across all the channels, even some that I didn't know existed. So thank you, Judy and Blake, for all the work that he did as well on getting us out there. Ooh, and we already have a volunteer. Thank you. We see that, we note that, to help with our social media presence. Any
Great.
other questions before we?
We had a couple that were submitted in advance of the meeting. Do you have those, Shelley?
I do not. So the one about CPG, I answered on the CPG tab slide. And unfortunately, no, I do not have those pre-submitted ones in front of me. I'm so sorry.
Okay, I think I found them. So here's a question. It says in many states, it's part of the Nurse Practice Act that all LPNs must take an IV course 30 to 40 hours to be IV certified or allowed to do any IV therapy. We know that RNs are not getting that level of education anywhere. Would the AVA board consider petitioning state boards to include RNs in those requirements and then reach out to other states to include the requirement for RNs and LPNs? It's one way AVA could make a difference on the national level. And I think what you're talking about there, the person asking the question, is really advocating, lobbying with state legislators that write those nurse practice acts. That's where that would be. As a board, we've actually had some discussion about if and when and how we could do that sort of advocacy. That is a whole big thing to do advocacy legislatively. And right now, AVA is not set up to be able to do that. Now, we promote, it is one of our values, advocacy, and we do promote being advocates for our patient. We do submit like the PIV opinion statement. I mean, though there are a number of things that we do to advocate for vascular access, but right now we are really not in a position to add a lobbyist and really do the kind of work that it would take to do that broad work. Not that we don't agree that it needs to be done and would be a good thing for us to do, but as we grow and continue to get stronger, then that's certainly something that we could consider, or a future board could consider. Yeah, the CPG one you already answered. There's another question here. It says, beside the clinical practice guidelines, what projects are in progress at AVA? Is there a way the membership can be updated monthly or quarterly at a minimum as to what AVA's doing? It would be helpful to see reports from every committee or task force in the IQ and on social media. And I will say, I think we've talked about several of those things that we've done, the network task force that we have going on, the PIV position statement, of course, the CPGs is a big one, the equity study is another one. But in addition to that, we have some standing committees. We have a board development commission that helps vet members for the board and future officers. We have a membership engagement. We had a task force that just dealt with the awards this summer. So there are a number of task force like that. And, I would really encourage you in the JAVA and also in the IQ, if there's a president's message, read it, because that's where those updates are going to occur. Now, when I read this question, I thought, gosh, I thought I tried to keep people updated this year, by putting that sort of stuff in my messages. But what I did not do was line it out and say, this is what this committee's doing, and this is what the next committee's doing. And I think that's a great idea, because that would maybe even give members an idea. Hey, that might be a committee I could work on. I could do that. So we're going to certainly take that under advisement and see if there's not a way that we can incorporate that, probably more formally in the IQ, um, more so than Java. So we're going to put that on our to-do list. So thank you very much for submitting that question. That is all the questions that I have that were submitted in advance. Are
We've had
there anything else in the Q&A?
We've had a couple more on the same, kind of the same theme, but very exciting to see people wanting to get involved and working with these other organizations. And I see Mickey has also responded, CPG will have updates in each of the IQs. So there'll be
Great.
ongoing communication. And as Tanya shared, please look to the president's address. I will do everything in my ability, as Tanya and those before me have done, to make sure we are keeping you informed. We hear that loud and clear. So the questions come across is, what plans do we have to start, quote, selling all the good research and information that AVA brings to other organizations such as ENA, APIC, INS, etc.? Do you want to talk about that, Tanya?
Yeah, I can talk about that, because I think that fits in with the one item that was identified in the survey last year, the relationships with other associations. And so what we're doing in relation to that is, first of all, identifying which associations are key to be on our kind of first up that we want to approach. We want to have a partnership that can be promoted between both sets of memberships. Maybe it's attendance at each other's meeting. Maybe it's speakers at each other's meetings. So we don't have that all sorted out just yet, but that is high on the priority list, and have some really good work going on toward that. So you'll hear more about that as that progresses.
And Tanya, can I also add some of the very, I'm going to say, awesome collaborations that we have in place with the health equity study? We had INS working alongside us, AVA and INS working
Yes.
together on that. The PIV curriculum is, and ECRI as well. Sorry, I don't want to leave them out, but INS and AACN and ECRI, and please, Judy, unmute if I'm missing someone there, on the PIV project. So we are working together hand in hand on some projects now. And I'm sure that's going to continue to expand as we see what our common grounds are, that we can facilitate better outcomes for our patients by working together.
And
I would
Michelle,
also like to point out our work with OLI. Don't forget about our relationship with the patient organizations as well. We had some folks that attended their conference this year, and I think it's important to have some professionals that are partnering with them, speaking at their organizations, and to make sure that they're getting accurate information to help make the terribly hard decisions that we know that they have to make. So that's another one that's on our radar. All right, Mark.
I was just going to add to it, the board in the past year, and we've requested quite a bit from Tally concerning marketing. We can have all these communications and relationships and have these products to potentially put out for education, for different aspects of AVA, but we also have to have a marketing plan for them. It's not just advertising that they exist. it's a rollout. It's where to change, where to modify. And that's one of the things we're requesting of Tally, to put a full marketing plan together towards these rollouts so that we can have the financial flow from that marketing.
Great, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
And there are no further questions in the Q&A right now.
Okay. All right, and I think that is Tanya Hutchison or Judy, is there anything else that we need to include today? Because I think that is the end of our business for today.
I think we just want to thank everybody for joining. And if you know anybody that wasn't able to join us today, we are recording and we'll be sending this out to all of the members so that everyone can hear the messages and all the great things that AVA has done and is continuing to do. So we want to thank all of you for joining us today, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.